It's Monday, April 16th, 2018. Thank you guys for taking the time to tune in. I have a little bit of news from the U.S. Department of Commerce, a little bit from AT&T, T-Mobile, Samsung, OnePlus, Gmail, deal for you guys, and then some 5G news. So to jump right into it, we'll start with the U.S. Department of Commerce. They've announced a 7-year ban of companies selling any type of manufactured parts to ZTE. The ZTE smartphone business is pretty notable here in the U.S. A lot of the entry-level budget devices that companies like Cricket and other carriers sell usually include ZTE. Now, Qualcomm in the past, as well as Dolby, are a couple of companies that have been worked very closely with ZTE, providing parts, manufactured components and things like that. So basically, what the U.S. Department of Commerce has done is announced they can no longer do business with U.S.-based companies. So this is something that stems back, I want to say, last couple of years, where there have been some illegal shipments to Iran and North Korea, which we all know, the relations with the U.S. So basically, they're going to be banned and barred to do business with ZTE from this point moving forward. So no U.S. companies can do that. This is disappointing. ZTE was set to have a 5G-ready phone in Q1 of 2019, so that obviously now is not going to happen. That's been completely eliminated from the plans. So basically, ZTE is going to have to do business strictly with companies like MediaTek, maybe Samsung in terms of chips, and then maybe Huawei. I mean, they've been banned too, so might as well do business with people in the same situation there, I guess. So that's going on there. AT&T. I guess in terms of this news, this just has to do with employees. I guess sections of the company have expired contracts for their employees. They're going to go ahead and continue to work business as usual. I know that they did threaten a strike. I don't have much news on this, but I guess the goal was, these AT&T employees wanted new contract terms reflecting the changes that, the Trump administration made for the tax reform. I'm sure, they want upgraded terms. They want to make sure there's some better contract commitments and enhanced job security there. So we'll see what comes of that. Some FCC news. They're fining T-Mobile $40 million for faking rings on calls that were actually never connected. They have finally reached a settlement on this issue. So I think this actually stems back to 2007. T-Mobile was being accused of, making that sound that it makes when a call connects. So I guess users were complaining, saying that the call ring sound was going off, that the call was connecting, but it never actually did. It never went through. This is actually has something to do with poor connectivity in terms of calls, so that's been identified as the culprit. It does date back to 2007 when these accusations were first being made. It's pretty much a ploy or a trick that a carrier might do to make the caller think that the call has went through. But what they've been accused of in this case is that they were accused of only being completing this type of activity for out-of-network calls. So from 2007 until, I guess, 2014, they were accused of this. But in 2014, there was a law called, the rural calling law, some type of call. I mean, when a network's not strong and there isn't the coverage there, this type of thing is going to happen where the connectivity isn't really there. But to make the user think that the call had connected and then it fails, that's what the accusation is for. But they have settled and reached an agreement, a $40 million fine, a lot of dough. Obviously, just a minor setback for T-Mobile there. The OnePlus 6, some hardware news here. There is going to be some waterproofing. No mention of IP rating exactly, whether it's going to be IP67 or if it's going to be IP68. But apparently OnePlus is finally going to offer this. It's also going to have a notch just like the iPhone 10. Expecting a price hike with this model. OnePlus makes a really, really good phone. And they also sell their devices as flagships, flagship killers. Definitely something to look at, when you're buying these Androids, if you're looking for a high-end performance phone without breaking the bank. But I expect a price hike. The IP rating is probably going to be there. I'll let you guys know more as details come out. For Samsung, record profits Q1. Looks like they have posted $15 billion in profits. This is from the production side, from the parts division side of things. So, whether it's the chips or any other types of hardware, they're doing very, very good in that respect. Expect a new Gmail UI. There's going to be an upgraded interface. some aesthetic changes to Gmail. So if you use the service, especially those of you on Android and Google services, they're going to be changing some simplicity type settings, maybe some navigation changes, an inbox upgrade. We'll be looking for that soon. I think it's up and coming very shortly, so be on the lookout for that. For those of you, this isn't really a deal, but it is a price cut. Anybody interested in the S9 or S9 Plus and you want to buy from your carrier, all carriers are now going to match the unlocked device cost that Samsung is selling it for. So it's kind of strange. When the device first launched, Samsung was selling the S9 for $719 and the S9 Plus for $839, and the carriers were selling it for more. Some carriers up to $70 or $80 more. So now we're going to see that the carriers are going to match Samsung, and that makes sense. So it took long enough, but now we're seeing it. And I'll leave you guys with some 5G news. There are 2 cities that are now going to be announced as test beds for up-and-coming 5G technologies in terms of developing the future networks. The 2 cities involved are Salt Lake City, Utah, and New York City. The University of Utah and Rice University are involved in the Salt Lake City technology testing, and in New York City it's going to be Rutgers, Columbia, and NYU. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to be testing autonomous vehicles and large-scale VR platforms using new up-and-coming developed 5G technology. They're going to be working on things like beamforming tech, massive MIMO technologies, and also working closely with unlicensed spectrum. So basically looking at capacity, connectivity, looking at latency and things like that. The programs themselves, I guess the technologies they're going to be testing, and what they're calling it is, in Utah they're testing Power, spelled P-A-W-R, Powder, and Renew. I don't have many details on them, but and then the 4th thing that's being tested, and this one is in New York, is called the Cosmos. I don't have much information on it, but what is relevant is that these 2 cities are going to be considered test beds. So they're going to be, experiencing a lot of testing going on in these areas. Let me know if any of you guys are out there in these regions. If you see anything, or something notable is going on and you find something in testing, I'd love to hear from you guys. So that's it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.